Right, we are live doing big things.
Feel good.
Where is... Oh no, where'd it go? All right, Potsy. We're good.
Set up.
We're all set up. Dude, so... Nobody's out there, but this is gonna save into a VOD, which is fucking awesome. So Potts and I are gonna be coming back to this. It's gonna be solid. Potts, I have so many questions, but I'm unprepared, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
How did you get? What possessed you to actually create a video game instead of just playing them?
I've always wanted to do it. So
Like
even when I was in, I mean, I don't know how far back, but I used to keep folders of game lore, specifically Ultima. I don't know if you're familiar with that old ass game.
Ultima Online?
Well, it's even before Ultima Online, like the actual where Ultima Online came from. So
wait, where the fuck did that game come from? I don't even know that.
Like, the first one's called Akalabeth, which is like really old. It's like 70s.
Wait, what? How do you spell that?
Akalabeth. It's A-L-K-A. I don't know. A-L-B-A-T-H, something like that. That should come. Do Ultima Zero. Type in Ultima Zero.
Ultima Zero?
Yeah. Zero isn't like the number 0.
Oh, Ultima Zero. Got it.
Akalabeth. There it is.
This right here?
Yeah. A-K-A-L-A-B-E-T-H, yeah.
Oh, Evolution of Ultima. All right, I'll play this one. I won't play the sound, but... All right, so this is... Wait, what the fuck? This is the game?
This is part 1. This isn't even Akalabeth. This actually looks better than Akalabeth. Akalabeth was just lines, and your character was a plus symbol.
What?
And it was like one of the first RPGs to come out. The developer is Richard Garriott. He made it when he was in high school, and he sold like 30,000 copies and then dropped out of school and then was like, I'm making video games.
Wow.
It was just, yeah.
And you played this? Like you were into this?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
My favorite one is Ultima 7.
Ultima 7. Let's check that out. Wait, how many Ultimas are there?
9. Not including Ultima Online or side.
What the fuck? Wait, in what order did I mean, obviously the order I get, but like, how far apart in between?
Like a year, roughly.
They had a year to make each game? I thought it took so long.
Yeah, but it does, but...
Wow.
This was a long time ago. Nowadays, it takes way longer because of how hard it is to do 3D modeling and shit,
This character looks like you. if you had longer hair, that shit was you, dude. Absolutely.
But yeah, this game. So like people play Skyrim or Oblivion or whatever, and they're like, I can manipulate objects and like pick up this apple and maybe poison it, and someone will eat it.
Yeah.
This game did all of that before anybody else. Like people joke about it, but like you can go and take a scythe, cut down wheat in a field, grind it up in a grindstone, make it into like, what is that? Bread powder?
Yeah.
And then mix that with water, turn it into dough, roll it out, put it into a fire, and make bread. And like you could do that in this game.
Wait, they had to code that shit?
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah.
What the fuck?
And like every NPC has their own schedule. There's day-night cycle. They'll go to the store, or when they buy something they want, they go to their jobs, and then at night they go to the tavern, get drunk. They'll go back to their house to go to sleep. Like it's crazy, and this is early '90s.
That's what's blowing my mind. Yeah, it's early '90s.
This was revolutionary,
Not to mention, dude, this looks great. Like for Pixel, this looks awesome.
So you can actually, someone recreated the engine and made it. It's called Exalt, and it has a lot of quality of life improvements. Like you can expand it to normal resolutions, and you can also like do filters so it's not as pixelated.
Right.
So like and that thing's been being worked on for decades. Like I think they just released a new version of Exalt recently, and there's a guy working on this game and like making it 3D, so you can like rotate the camera, which is insane.
Like he's currently working on that?
Yeah, he's currently working on it. It's just some random dude. Like this game, for people who were gaming back then, like this game was like revolutionary.
I remember my cousins, they always bring up Ultima Online. And I've never played it, but I know if you die, you lose your shit, right? Like that's like...
Yes.
It's fair.
So Ultima Online was one of the first MMOs I've played. There was a few other weird ones, like I think it was called Realm, made by Sierra, and it was like you can PvP and you guys turn into like this little dust ball on the screen, and then like if you see that dust ball, you could walk into it and then get into the same battle. It was really weird.
Wow.
But yeah, Ultima Online was the shit. I mean, I played so much of that as a teenager. Like it was insane.
What was the game after Ultima Online that you got into that like made you continue like gaming?
I mean, I've always gamed. Like, ever since I was
you're
little
just
kid.
general. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay. I mean, if you want to go back as early as I can possibly remember, when it comes to video games, is sitting down in the living room watching my brother play Commando for NES.
Commando?
And like, I must have, yeah, it's like it's a pretty shitty game, but
for the NES.
Like, yeah, for the NES. Like that game was probably like the first video game I can remember. We used to go to this video rental place called Video Explosion and
what the fuck is this?
Rent games. Yeah. So this is probably the first video game I've ever seen. I must have been like 4 or 5 years old, maybe, you know,
wow.
something like that. And you know, I didn't know what the hell was going on with it. I did play it, and then, but like really what really got me into video games is role-playing games.
Oh, this looks cool though, right? This part looks...
It is. It's fun, and it's multiplayer too.
And it's multiplayer.
Yeah. But you can't play at the same time. Like it's like you die, and then the next guy gets to go.
Guy. Yeah. They're teaching how to share at a young age.
Yeah. Dragon Warrior 1 was the first game that got me into gaming, like legit into gaming.
Dragon Warrior.
NES, yeah.
NES, here we go.
So, this game is what probably influenced my entire life when it comes to video games.
What? I thought it was Ultima.
Ultima is where I get my design philosophy from.
Ah, gotcha.
This is the game that made me passionate about video games and about like fantasy and role playing and Dungeons and Dragons. Like this is the game that opened up my entire perspective on like knights and dragons and like fantasy in general, you know, or generic medieval fantasy.
This looks like Final Fantasy a little bit, the way it's like.
Yeah. So this came out before Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
But Final Fantasy was the next, like Final Fantasy 1 for NES was like the next big thing. I remember sitting down, like this game I was able to play by myself as a young age because it's very simple. And I got it for free from having a subscription to Nintendo Power.
So it's easy to pick up, easy to roll with.
Yeah, it's very easy to understand as like a little kid. So I'm probably going to start with my kids 5 or 6.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
And but my brother played Final Fantasy 1 for the NES, and I would sit there and watch him every day play that game and like felt like I was playing it with him.
Yeah.
And normally at that age he couldn't stand me for like a long time, so I'm glad he put up with me for that. But I still remember I had a nightmare about that game.
Really?
Yeah, he got into a battle with some like there's these little tiny wolf sprites, and there's like a brown wolf, a gray wolf, and then a green wolf, and the green wolf can like poison you. And I had a nightmare about wolves after watching him play all day on Final Fantasy. It's like something that stuck with me.
Yeah. All right, so after this game, like, what was kind of the road to leading you up to making your own game? Like, what age did you start getting into coding, I guess? Did you ever get into coding, or was it just RPG Maker?
I got into coding through RPG Maker. So then, like, it was a very gradual thing. Like, I wrote a huge, like a really big review for RPG Maker on Steam, and like I expressed like my thoughts and feelings on it, and like, and it basically boils down to, if you have absolutely zero experience or knowledge on game design, it's perfect. Like,
yeah,
that can hold your hand enough, and if you stick with it, it'll teach you a lot. And it's not just about coding; it's about like how to make something fun and engaging, and like how to write a story. I mean, it literally will teach you every little aspect if you stick with it and you like really want to make something. But if you want to make something, now I don't want to say fancy, if you want to make something outside of the norm, you need to at least dabble in programming.
How hard is programming?
It's very difficult to initially wrap your head around it.
Initially.
But the more you... Like, I think a lot of people, when they want to learn it, they bite on more than they can chew. And I think, like, RPG Maker was a very good way to ease into it, because at least I'm assuming people who've done it have done it similar to me, which is, you want something, right? Like, oh, I want there to be nighttime, because like RPG Maker doesn't normally give you nighttime. So, I mean, you could event it in, but if you want to go programming wise, you'd be like, all right, Google plugin, like programming plugin or script for RPG Maker for Night Cycle,
right.
And then there'll be who knows how many people have made one. You find one, use it, and like you have it, but maybe it's missing one element. Maybe the night is too dark or too bright, and you're like, oh, I need to modify this somehow.
Fine tune that, right.
Yeah. So now the program is already made for you. It works. Now you're looking through it, and you're like, I think I can dissect kind of what this is. Or if they left comments, that's even better. But like, you're now trying to read it and modify one little simple thing, which is probably like a number somewhere, like You're changing 25 to 50, but that's what eases you into it, like right. you start using other people's stuff and make minor changes to it, and then you'll learn more and more as you do that.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, your first game is The Great Gaius.
Yeah.
Now, how, like, and I obviously, Potts is like one of my homies. Like, I've talked to him about gaming before, but I truly don't know what got you into that, I guess, time period, that whole fantasy. What brought you to make the characters the way they are, the artwork? Did you hire out? I know that you hired out for the artwork, right?
Yeah.
Did you just roll with it once they were like, here you go, Potts, like, this is what I whipped up, and you were like, oh, this is actually fucking good? And you just like kind of rolled with it, or did you give them a little bit more direction before?
We gave them direction, yeah. Me and Matt Papalardo, my partner, so that's another thing you learn when you're doing something like this, right? Like, this goes for programming, this goes for art, music, whatever. Like, you give somebody a design document. Well, at first you don't even do that. You give them an email and you're like, I want this. And they're like, okay. And they send you something and it's like completely different from what you wanted. So
yes,
you start to learn, but they still want to get paid. They did the work. So you still got to pay them. So now you just lost money on something you didn't even want. Now, this is just like learning, like growing pains for learning shit like this. So you'll start learning, like, I need to be very specific on what I want. And you make enough mistakes and pay for enough stuff that you don't really want, you'll learn how to be more specific. So, I mean, I would give multiple image references. I would give detailed descriptions through text. And, sometimes I'd give them more leeway. Like, I'd be like, all right, it's a female who wears a white and gold dress with blonde hair. Everything else you can do yourself. Some things are more, but like when you want to design like Potts, my character, like I was very descriptive on what exactly I wanted,
This game looks so good, dude. It really does. It's so clean.
It's easy. I think it's one of the best RPGs. Well, in this type of genre, like the JRPG genre. And I know that's like, oh, that's the guy who made it. Of course, he's going to think that. But if you look at the reviews on Steam, almost all of them are positive, and almost all of them say like how amazing it is. Like, especially with the people you see with like over 200 hours, like that. Sometimes when I just want to feel good, I just go to 200
hours, dude.
Yeah,
what?
Dude. Like if you want to do everything, it's going to be around there.
You have 200 hours of gameplay in this game?
Yep. If you want to max out all the characters, there's 17 playable characters. So if you want to max out and get all their gear and do all their like side stuff, it'll take like 200 hours.
That's insane.
If you just want to beat it and you have no prior knowledge, it takes about 60 to 80 hours.
That's still a really long time.
I've tried speed running it. Like, just how fast can I beat it? I skip all the text and just like, how fast can I beat it? Just mostly through it, yeah. And it takes about roughly 30 hours.
Okay, so you're right. If you don't skip and you're losing lore. Yeah. Question for you: what makes it a JRPG if you made it in America?
It's it's how the game is played. So I don't know how much I should get into this, but like. If you like, if you play an old school Final Fantasy game, like it's okay. The easiest way to put it, and is linear versus open. I guess is like probably the most simplistic way you can put it. So like you look at something like Ultima that I was describing, Ultima 7.
That's open.
It's open world. You can do all these things and manipulate all these things and do all these crazy stuff. But like, it's up to you to piece together how to do the story. Like if you play Ultima 7, you don't like, they don't tell you where, like they give you hints on where to go, but no, there's no direction, like you can pick up the main story if you want, or you can go do whatever else. Same thing in Skyrim, Oblivion, Mario, like open world games are like that. A lot of Western RPGs follow that open design philosophy, whereas JRPGs want to tell a tight-knit story in a linear fashion. So you're going from point A to point B, and you're like, you normally, the characters are already named, he's not just like a blank protagonist like Potts, and everybody else has their own backstory, so you're playing a role of a character that already exists, and then going through their story arc.
Right.
I think is probably the difference between a JRPG and a Western RPG.
I mean, I definitely got a taste when I was playing Final Fantasy Online. That was my gripe. I even told you were, because Potts was a fucking huge Final Fantasy Online guy. And then he had babies. and then his life changed. But I just remember like talking to you, and I'm like, yo, dude, like, what the fuck is with this linear path? And you're like, dude, that's how they set it up. It's JRPG, and now it makes more sense to me now. That it's kind of like guided, like the map. Obviously, they kind of opened it up to Western at the end with the expansions. It was more open world. I don't know why they went that route.
I think a lot of Japanese developers are now trying to do that. I mean, look at Elden Ring. Like, that's open world, right? I haven't played it, but I'm pretty sure it's open world. Like, I think they see that it's more popular, maybe. And they're like, we got to start doing this.
Yeah, that makes more sense. That makes more sense for sure.
But I think there's enough room for both, to be honest. So.
Oh, like the best of both worlds? Are you drinking Guinness right now?
No, this is I don't know, some sort of double IPA my wife bought me. I have no
It's
idea what
so
it is.
fucking dark. It's black. Oh no, it's not. It's not.
It's
Okay,
just dark
sorry.
in here.
I thought this. Yeah. Okay.
So it's funny you bring that up because Yallarhorn, I tried to marry the two genres. That was like my goal of that game, was to be like, I want to make a JRPG Western RPG, and I called it like a JRPG fusion or Western RPG JRPG fusion. I don't know.
Has that been done before?
I had asked a few gaming forums about it, and they said it's impossible.
What makes it impossible?
Because how can you have a linear tight story with an open world experience? They like contradict each other. But I still tried to do it, and
right.
I think it's successful. I mean, not a lot of people have played Yallarhorn. It's way less people have bought Yallarhorn than the Great Gaius.
But is that because of marketing? Is that because of the marketing?
I think that is a major factor.
Okay.
So Matt and I, we discussed how we were going to market it when we were nearing completion.
Yeah.
And I just assumed we were going to do the same thing we did with the Great Gaius, which was like hit conventions and just basically
word of mouth, old school.
Word of mouth, yeah. But he wanted to do, so he was really focused on the Codex Eternal, which is like our dungeon, like taking our games and making them into a Dungeons and Dragons campaign setting. So like having a book and like people can play out stories and wars and whatever else or time periods in our world we made, right? And I mean, I'm all for that, but he thought if we focused on that, it would filter down to Yallarhorn, which I fought him on, but I capitulated. So
gotcha. Yeah,
that's where we're at.
Gotcha. Okay. I've never played Yallarhorn. I think I played. You gave me the key at one point, and I played like maybe 5 minutes of it, 10 minutes. But the Great Gaius, I played a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the Great Gaius is way easier to get into, I think. Yallarhorn is very complex.
I think that's what threw me off about it.
Yeah, I mean, I went in there assuming people would know Dungeons and Dragons who were buying it, you know?
Yeah.
So it's very Dungeons and Dragons heavy, and it's not like new Dungeons and Dragons where it's more streamlined. It's like very crunchy when it comes to numbers and like character builds. So you have a ton, like so the Great Gaius has 17 characters. Yallarhorn, you have your main character, and then you can pick up other people. But like, I wanted you to have complete control over that one character. So you have like, I forget how many, it's like 12 equipment slots. Like you can equip different shoulders and arms and like all this different gear, and you can slot them with different enchantments. You can build your class in different ways. You can change your class on the fly, and then also like develop the class enough that you can master it. And then if you master it, you could like subclass it. So you can make 2 classes at once, and then mix and match abilities from other classes to put onto your character. Like there's so much available for you as a player to build the character you want in the way you want. And that was my for it.
Do you make that known in the trailer?
To be honest, I wasn't very happy with the trailer. I paid somebody on Fiverr for it. And so the Great Gaius trailer we made ourselves.
Gotcha.
And the person who did the video editing, like there was 3 of us. It'd be me, Matt Peppilardo, my partner, and Matt Ash, who was into like video design and stuff. And Matt Ash made it for us, but we all like sat down together, like hung out and like made it together. Like he did the actual stuff on the computer, but we directed him exactly the way we wanted it.
Right.
Whereas the Fiverr thing, like I gave him a bunch of videos and was like, "Make me a trailer," you know.
Did you actually spend 5? No. You spent way more than that.
No, it was pretty cheap. It was like $50 maybe.
Oh, wow, that's like, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's nothing. Like it was. That's why I had two different guys make two different trailers, and I just chose the best one that I liked.
Yeah, for 50 smacks. I mean, fuck it. Yeah.
But I think I have them both on my Horizon's End YouTube page, but like they,
Yeah.
whatever. I paid for both of them. I put both of them up, but there's one that I play as like the Steam page one, which is the one I like.
Right. Which game do you prefer? If you had to pick.
I think the Great Guys is like a masterpiece.
Really?
Yeah. Yallarhorn, I think, is really good on a technical level, and it's a lot harder to open up what's actually in there. Like if someone was dedicated and they're like, I'm picking up Yallarhorn, I'm going to play the shit of it and do everything. Like it's very hard to do that because I made so many paths in that game that people would have a hard time. Like you'd have to replay the game a lot to actually see everything. Like every encounter you get into, you can either, you might be able to talk your way out of it. You can fight, you can run away, you can lose it. Like you actually can't get a game over screen in Yallarhorn. If you die in a normal random encounter, you just appear back at the inn and there's like you're missing money. If you die during a story fight, the story changes.
Really?
So like you don't actually die, but like somebody might come and rescue you, or something else happens that triggers another event that makes another story branch open up. Like it's like a choose your own adventure. And that's where it got really crazy to develop, because you need to think of it's like, okay, well, I did this at this event, and then I did this at this event, and this person may have done one of these other three options. How do I get over here, and how do I do that? Like I think there's like 20 endings in the game, and
oh my god,
like there's just so many ways you can play it. And I even made it so that you could be a pacifist, where like you can beat the game without getting into a single battle,
just like talking your way through.
Yeah, talking your way through and making select decisive decisions. But I mean, like I made a fishing mini game, and like there's gathering and crafting, and there's a lot of custom code in there and program. I was trying to make I have day-night cycles. I was trying to like recreate the interactivity of Ultima Online, and like people drink at the tavern at sunset, and they go to their jobs in the daytime, and I have that in there, but I had to dial it back a lot because during beta testing, people got confused. They didn't know where anything was. They're like, oh, these people always disappear and they're in a different location. And it's like, yeah, because they're living their lives. But from that feedback, I like really pulled that back and made people mostly stay in the same locations. They only left for like at nighttime or maybe sunset. Like I had it there, like, well, they might walk around the town at dawn, and then at daytime they're doing their job, and then at sunset they're doing this. Like I had it all like intricate.
What if you kept that original style, but you put a marker, like you kind of made it a little bit more hand-holding where the person is? Yeah,
that was on our development template.
Okay.
To a mini map and like a directional guide.
Was it just easier to dial it back, I guess? It was just easier to...
Yes. And the reason this was because this was like I said, people were beta testing it. So this is like, we were going to release the game soon.
Yeah, that's what, okay.
Now,
that makes sense.
If you remember, in 2023, I'm pretty sure I released the game.
Yes.
I released it in January. And the reason it was not ready yet, but I released it because in like December of 2022, Wizards of the Coast was threatening to not let anybody make anything D&D related. They were threatening to get rid of their open GULA or whatever it was, and like if you make everything you made before this is grandfathered in, but if you make anything D&D related when it comes to books or whatever, they get a piece of the pie. They have final say and stuff, like all this crazy shit. So I was like, I have a lot of D&D stuff in this game. Like it's basically playing like a D&D character. I was like, I need to release it like now.
And you get a lot of money too. Yeah, a lot of money is invested in that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
what assholes?
Great Guys. Yeah.
Why'd they fucking do that though?
They pulled back. There was a huge backlash, so they did relent.
So they fucked you, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of the many factors that happen.
Wow.
But yeah, like there's initial reviews for Yallarhorn that are like, oh, it's a buggy mess, and it was because I released it earlier than I wanted. But
How much earlier, by the way?
How much? About 8 months.
Wow, a fucking year, dude. That's a year, bro. Oh my god, man.
So, yeah, that would be all. And like the game was done, you can play it from start to finish. Like those months were just going to be for bug fixes and smoothing out things, adding stuff like the mini map with the radar and like where you can see NPCs, like all that stuff. Just had to get swept aside.
When you released it on Steam, did you release it as an early access?
Oh yeah, I did that. I mean, that's where the beta testing came from. Was early access. Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay, but did you get pegged with bad reviews because of, I don't know, any bugs or anything like that?
Yes, but that's because I had released the game already. Usually, when you're in early access, like you can get people who might leave a review in early access and say this or that was broken, but it's not that common. It depends how many reviews you get, right? So, on average, I think you get about like maybe 20% of the player population might leave a review. It's probably less than that. It's probably like 15%.
Really?
Yeah. So if you look at a game that has like 10,000 reviews, it probably has like 1 million copies sold, not more than that. You know?
Yeah. I never really did that math. Yeah.
Yeah. So like The Great Guys has, I think, 90 reviews to 100 reviews, something like that. It's some small number.
What was the biggest?
But I've sold thousands of copies.
You sold 1,000?
Like thousands of copies.
Oh, thousands. Fucking A. Of Gaius.
Yeah.
What was the biggest hurdle that you had to get over with each game? The biggest in your opinion?
It's always been marketing.
It's been marketing.
And I don't know the right answer for marketing because
TikTok.
I've tried throwing money at it, like putting Facebook ads, Instagram ads. TikTok didn't exist at the time, so at least for Gaius anyway.
Are you talking a few thousand?
Yes,
because I know it's expensive. I mean, but it buys you. It's an investment into, you know.
So that's that. I mean, you think that, right? But it never equaled any sales. Like all that money was just sunk and equaled nothing. Like I got more likes on the page from it. There was like you can check your impressions you get and all this other stuff. But like, if you check Steam sales versus when ads were running, it was nothing, no change.
Where did you go to actually market this? Did you contact Instagram directly or Facebook directly?
I mean, that's their main marketing thing, or their main money makers are ads. So you can just go onto their site and then you upload a video and you say who's going to be interested in it. And there's all these little tags you can do, like RPG or Dungeons and Dragons or whatever it is. And that, like, people who, I guess, have cookies that, everyone gets tracked, right? What their preferences are. So based on what your preference is, say you're into Dungeons and Dragons, you'll probably get my video, like, of showing my game.
How do you get it so you don't have to be into something specific? How do you get it to where it's showing me Clash of Clans and fucking Raid Shadow Legends when I'm, watching, I don't know, hockey? like
that takes a lot of money.
So it does come down to more money to be a general ad.
Yeah, like if you want to, if you want to see Clash of Clans during your hockey game, it's going to cost more money than it costed me to make the game.
Got it. Now, do you think that was? Do you think the Great Gaius was marketed better than?
Absolutely, because we didn't think we were going to make anything else. So, when we were close to being finished, like it was like we were really close to finishing the game off. I was looking for ways to market it. And I know video game conventions, so there's too many games, which I've been going to. Like, I haven't gone to it in a few years, but I used to go to it every year.
PAX
It's in Pennsylvania. And then, well, PAX East was the first real convention we went to. I mean, Too Many Games is a real convention. I shouldn't say that.
Oh,
Too Many Games is awesome.
Yeah. Yes.
It's a small convention, and like that's where we first showed the game. And we went there and showed the game off before, like it wasn't even. It shouldn't have been even shown off, but we were trying to gauge interest and do stuff. But like it was great, and like that convention is an awesome convention, and I always had a great time being there. But when we were really close to releasing the game, we went to PAX East.
That's in Boston, right?
Yep, it's the second biggest gaming convention in the world. And when I applied to get a booth there, I was like, they're not even gonna let me. They're like, who's this fucking guy? No, he ain't getting in here. But really, it all comes down to money, right? So it's like,
yeah,
you can have a 10-foot booth, $2,000. Okay. So you pay that money, you don't get like anything with it. You just get like a 10 by 10 box, and then everything else is on you. So
wow,
had to like, I mean, luckily that guy Matt Ash who did the video editing for our trailer, he also had connections with like studio equipment when it came to like these big monitors and stands that we mounted our stuff on, where we can like hang it off into the hallway and blast the trailer so people can like walk down, they see it.
Oh, that's fucking solid, dude. Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things I miss is the conventions. Like,
well, I'm sure you met a lot of people. You got to hang out at the bar after and shit, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And especially when we sold The Great Guys the first year, like the first time, I think we made like thousands, like I don't know how many $1,000s, but like we were like balling it up, going out to dinner, buying fucking steak dinner, getting drunk.
And that's kind of how the Kobe
like that's how the conventions usually were. It was like we'd go out to the convention and we'd make money, but that money we made, we would just like blow a lot of it while we were there. And like that's okay, you know. I mean, the point of going there was to get the word out of the game and network.
Yeah.
So sure. Like whatever minuscule amount of copies we sold at a convention is nothing compared to like the grand scheme of things when it comes to sales globally.
Right.
And that's what you really want, right? You're hoping that someone who has a following in whatever form, if it's a blog or a video, like he's a reviewer, whatever it is, like you want somebody who has some sort of following to get your name out there. Because if that doesn't happen, then you're doing what I'm doing, which is like constantly struggling to
fucking struggling.
Yeah. I mean, my dad carries cards around of The Great Guys in his back pocket, and then every single person he meets, he's like,
check out my son's game.
You play RPGs? Like, it's crazy, but it's fun.
That's so fucking cool. Now, another question. I know we're veering off, but like, when you were doing these conventions, like, did you meet anybody big that you were like, oh fuck, like potentially I could work with this guy, like he likes me? Like, did you meet anybody like that, a developer or?
No, I met some. Like, I met YouTubers and stuff, but I didn't meet like any game devs. Like, you got to be on like panels and stuff, or get lucky walking around. Most of the time, I stayed at the booth. Yeah. If I wanted to go, like, we'd be trying split up time to like go look around. So like, so we had to make sure people are always at the booth, but we would take time. Matt would go out one time, and then my friend Scott would come with us to help. So like, there's always people at the booth, but we spent time in the convention too.
How much?
But I didn't meet any developers. To get a what?
How much is it to get a panel? Or to get onto a panel? Sorry.
Oh, that I never even looked into it. I mean, I don't even know how that's set up, to be honest. Wow. But those guys, they come in and they talk about like game design and like how did I get into video games and all that stuff. You know, it's like
yes.
And I'm a nobody, so there's no way I'm going to be like, oh, Chris Avalon, fucking get me on here.
Who's Chris Avalon?
He is the writer he created Planescape Torment, which is like considered one of the greatest RPGs ever made.
Besides Mass Effect, which I just learned about.
Yeah, specific.
Yeah.
I mean, Planescape is up there. If you like see like the 100 greatest RPGs ever made, it's like people usually listen up in their top 5. He's probably the greatest RPG writer ever. Like, yeah, you know Fallout?
Of course.
He helped make Fallout, like the original Fallout. It's not like the new ones,
like
but
the
he made
like the top down. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I mean, he was in a lot of like Knights of the Old Republic Part 2.
Really?
Wrote in there, yeah. Like he's old school and like has his hand in probably some of the best Western RPGs ever made.
Very interesting. If you had what's your top 5 favorite games? I'm sure it's changed over the years, but like if you had to pick them now, like what would you pick? No specific order.
Ultima 7 is up there.
Excluding your games, by the way.
Yeah. I would say Ultima 7, Quest for Glory 4. I mean, the whole Quest for Glory series, I kind of count as like one game. But Quest for Glory, if I had to pick any of the Quest for Glories, it'd be Quest for Glory 4.
Okay.
Final Fantasy 6.
What was 6?
That's 3. That's the one with Terra. She's like a half human, half Esper character. Locke is the thief. It's like a big cast. Like how in the Great Guys there's 17 playable characters. One of the reasons that is that way is because Final Fantasy 6 had a huge cast of characters.
I don't think I've ever played this.
Even Chapter 3 of the Great Gaius, I imitated Final Fantasy 6, how like your character, your party gets split up into 3 different areas, and you got to play each individual area before they meet up with each other. Like I added that to the guys, and I got it from this game.
Oh.
Kefka, one of the greatest villains ever. He's just a psychotic sociopath and he wins. You know, like no other villain ever wins. He wins. Like he destroys the entire world, and yes, you kill him at the end. But the world's still destroyed. He already destroyed the world.
Already fucked up. Yeah. So that's 3. What's your other 2? If you say Halo, I'm ending the stream.
No. I mean, I would say most of my games are going to be like role-playing games. Like those are the ones that
yeah
made the most difference to me. Morrowind's probably.
Okay.
And tough one.
Is it a battle?
How many? Yeah, I mean, I really like Earthbound a lot.
Why does that sound
familiar? I don't know.
Earthbound.
That's another JRPG, but it's cool because it's a JRPG that they developed by researching America.
What do you mean?
Like your character starts and it's like a modern day RPG. So you start in like a small American town.
Oh, interesting. Wow, this actually looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's really quirky and different.
When did this come out?
But it's fun. In the 90s, like 95 probably, around there, 96.
What? This looks like, I don't know, it looks better.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wait, is that Ness?
That's Ness, yeah. That's Ness.
No shit!
Yeah, man.
This is where he came from?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. His psychic powers. PK Thunder.
PK Thunder. Yeah, what does that mean, by the way? What does PK mean?
Psychic Thunder.
Oh my god.
I don't know why it's PK, but yeah, it's Psychic Thunder.
I had no idea. That's wild, dude.
Yeah, this game's really awesome. I've played it many times.
All right, so if you had to get back into gaming production, what would you create and why?
I mean, I would continue my story. You know, I already have it mapped out. I was planning already to do it in Unreal Engine but I have to, because Yallarhorn failed so spectacularly, and I'm still in debt from that game. It's been over 2 years now. Like, it's just I can't make another game until at least the debt is paid, and then. But even then, like, I don't know. Like, I was able to make Yallarhorn from the money I made from the Great Gaius, and then I also took out a loan.
Right.
So I spent $60,000 to $80,000 to make Yallarhorn, and
that is so fucking expensive, dude. For a solo dev. You were solo dev, pretty much, right? I know Matt, but
yeah. I mean, Matt helped. I did the majority of the work in Yallarhorn. Like, we still worked together. Like, we would get together every Monday, and he was the driving force for a lot of the story. But when it came to like the guts and how that even putting the story into the game, like, he wrote Word documents, and I mean, I'm not trying to minimize that. That's important, but like, the majority of the work in the engine was by me. Whereas in the Great Gaius, it started mostly with him, and then I hopped in around when he got into like chapter 2 somewhere, and that's when I was like, we need to fucking, like, I played it and I was like, I'm gonna help you, and we're gonna make this shit like a real game. And yeah, that was really fun.
If you like, what is there any redemption for Yallarhorn? Can you take X amount of money and just throw it into advertising again to push that return? I don't have any money. So I don't even, and like I said, I don't trust advertising, because every time I've done it, it's never equaled any sales. That's so
and I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on marketing.
Yeah, that's so concerning.
You really need a lot of money. Like, from what I've researched and talked to other developers, they said you need your budget to be like, you take your budget and then you double it, and that's the marketing.
That's fucking
so
crazy.
Yeah, I don't have $80,000 to drop on marketing.
No. But if you did, let's say if you did, what would your projected revenue be?
If I had that money, I actually wouldn't put it into marketing. I would put it into cross-platform. Like, I've been trying to get, because it's not the easiest thing to make an RPG Maker game compatible with, like, Xbox. You really have to, like, kind of rebuild it. I mean, you have the template there, but you got to kind of rebuild the back end. Doesn't
Unreal do that for you, though?
It takes about it. Well, no, you can't just like, here's my game, recreate it. I mean, you would do it in Unreal. Like, I don't know who. I was looking at the Scandinavian developers in Sweden, and they were basically like, it's going to be like $100,000, and it'll take them about a year to do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So to me, that means they have like probably one guy who's doing it.
Even then, you're not guaranteed, right?
No, you're not. But I think the Gaius and Yallarhorn both are more suited to console play, and that goes beyond just like, Xbox. I mean, like, one of the biggest requests in every convention we got to was like, can I get it on the Switch? I want to be able to play it on the go. It's just that genre of game is more suited to being on your couch or being on a handheld than being at your desktop computer and playing.
Definitely, absolutely.
I did have one guy who reached out to me who he played the Great Gaius and he loved it, and he was like, he sent me an email and he's like, I'm a angel investor. It's like, can we get, like, what can we do? Like, what are you working on? And I was like, I want to get this ported over to Nintendo. And he's like, all right, let's do it. Give me a number. And I was like, $100,000. And he's like, that number doesn't scare me. I was like, well, let's do it. And he's like, well, give me your sales. and like what you've done. I gave him my sales numbers, and he's like, "Oh, I can't do it. Sorry."
This is for Yellowhorn?
This is for the Great Gaius.
I thought the Great Gaius had great numbers, though.
Not great numbers.
For
I mean,
him.
not
Okay.
great enough that, yeah. Like, I mean,
Gotcha.
I'm not retired, so it's not, but like
Ah,
it
yeah.
made enough that I was able to try and pursue this as a career.
Okay.
And my whole thing was like, all right, if Yallarhorn sells just as much as the Great Gaius, that sucks, but at least it's still enough. But I'm hoping it's going to sell more because I put more, I didn't put more time into it because it took me 4 years instead of 7 years, but I knew more of what I was doing. I knew how to program better. I was able to make all the custom systems I ever could imagine. I made better graphics, like I just assumed it was going to sell more, but it did not.
When I was asking before if you could continue, make a new game, you said you wanted to continue your story, but you wanted to do it on Unreal Engine. Now, does that mean the graphics would change totally?
Yes, I would go full on modern 3D graphics.
Would it still be top down, kind of like a Diablo, or something different?
No, it'd be more like a third person, like Shadows of Mordor. I don't know if you've played that game.
I've seen it. Yes, I've seen it.
Yeah. Or, Batman Arkham Asylum, maybe pushed further back than that, like third person, it's like, yeah, I don't know how else to describe it. Like, Shadows of Mordor is probably the easiest thing that comes to mind for me when it comes to like the graphical look and camera angle.
I'm just like that. I feel like that would take so fucking long. Versus top down, like something like this.
But why? Like, you still need the assets made. So like to have somebody draw this like stone that this character's walking on, or these characters in general, and like their animation movements, it still takes a decent amount of time.
Even the way it looks graphically here versus on 3D in Unreal?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. I'm not saying this is gonna like that one takes longer than the other. Like 3D modeling is gonna take longer, but it still takes a lot of time, one way or the other. And depends on how good the artist is and how detailed the artist is. Like, is he gonna be just like a generic guy wearing a robe, or are you gonna have like he's got a red scarf that hangs off of his brown leather belt that has pouches on it and vials of liquid? Like, if you're making a 3D model and you have all this crazy intricate detail, it's going to take longer.
What's your projected timeline if you were to get into something like that?
Well, it's going to take longer just because I'm not super familiar with Unreal Engine. Like, I've used it,
yeah,
but it would be that learning factor would at least take time.
6 months to a year, maybe.
Yeah,
but can
and
you
that's
produce? Can you produce like during that time?
Produce what?
Like anything? Can you like make a dent in like producing the game while you're learning?
Oh, I would be making the game while I was learning. Definitely. That's how I did it. That's how I did it with the Great Gaius. You find something that you want to do and you figure out how to do it, and that takes time because especially if you don't know, if you don't know what you're doing, you got to learn how to do it.
Right.
But I have like everything mapped out for that game, and I took the whole learning thing into account and was planning on making it into like portions. And I know people don't like it's like, oh, it's not a full game, but like because it would be new to me and learning, I was going to do it like, oh, you buy chapter 1, you buy chapter 2, buy chapter 3. Like those are. That way, it's more bite-sized. Plus, I can gauge the interest. Like, how well did part 1 do? It was even worth building part 2. And that's kind of how like I was trying to do with Yallarhorn. Like, I had a vision for Yallarhorn expansion.
Right.
And like, because it ends with like 2 countries going to war, and I was like, all right, well, it's gonna like if Yallarhorn sells well, the expansion for Yallarhorn would be like the war is going on and everything. Like, I had it all mapped out too, but there's no point in developing it if the game didn't sell well.
We're coming up to.
But
Sorry to cut you off. I just want to let you know we're coming up to an hour. I do have one last question for you, like a big question for you though. If you had advice to someone like me who maybe wants to get into game developing, or anything in that kind of area, what kind of advice would you give someone like me?
Stick with it. If you really want to do it, you got to stick with it. I mean, that's what is the difference between someone making something and not making something. Like if you're passionate about it and you believe in it and you enjoy doing it, start it and keep going.
What if you run out of money though?
Well, you take out a loan. That's what I did. Depends how badly you believe in it, right? I mean, if this is something that you really want, then you shouldn't let something bar you unless you should never let anything bar you. And if the cost is too much for you to incur, then you should make it in a simpler fashion where it's not as expensive. I mean, I put more money into Yalahorn because I thought it was going to sell more, and it didn't. So now I'm in debt. But the Great Gaius, I put enough money in. I put money in out of every one of my paychecks. So I was working at Piping Rock, and I needed a new graphic made. I hit up the artist, yeah, I can't pay you until Thursday when I get my paycheck, and I would pay money out of my paycheck every week.
You take a percentage out, yeah.
Yeah, it's just, dude, that's what you got to do. If you really want it, you got to do what you got to do.
All right. Well, until next time, Potts Talos with Horizon's End. He has 2 games out. Check him out on Steam. One's The Great Gaius, which was the first one that he made, and the second one a little bit more complex not for the faint heart, right? Not for the lighthearted. We have Yalahorn. Which Potts, if you want to just put that in the stream, just put the 2 chats in there, and link the people out here. We do have some viewers out here, which is kind of cool. Good to see you guys. But yeah, Potts, pleasure as always, dude. I'll see you on the battlefield, dude.
Are you talking about linking it in the Discord?
You could link it in the Discord and link it also in the Twitch stream if you're still here.
Okay, sure, I could do that.
Just for the people here, because I think that would be cool for them to try it out.
Yeah, I mean,
do you have any sales?
I always try and share it with anybody I can.
Yeah, of course. Do you have a sale coming up at any time?
It's on sale right now. I mean, it's the Steam Summer Sale, so
sale.
It's Great Gaius is 75% off right now. You can get it for $5, and Yalahorn is, I believe, 50% off. Or you can buy the entire bundle, which has both soundtracks and both games, and it's 63% off.
Make it happen, dudes and dudettes. All right, Potsy, let's get out of here. Pleasure. We'll do it again, all right?
All right, man. Have a good one.
You too, brother. Peace. Thanks, guys.
Peace.
Later.